Swamiji, this next question I'm sure a lot of us have had. How can we bring about discipline amongst children and husband at home?
Wrong question to ask a sannyasi. I have neither husband or wife nor children. I will try and answer as much as I can. If it is practical, apply it. If it is not practical, no problem. So before I go to that question, we had a we had some psychological inputs also for some of these questions which came. So we did some homework. So for that previous question, no, about sibling and friends, there's one psychological point here which is develop high frustration tolerance, meaning tolerating personal negative emotions and high tolerance for opinions and views that contradict yours. Then it is easy to live and let live. So we must develop what? FQ, frustration quotient. Develop your FQ, frustration quotient, and deal with it. Because sometimes small children, when the younger one may act immaturely, what do? You cannot go back and be frustrated again at them. Has to tolerate, accommodate, talk. Many things have to be done. Same thing, no, age doesn't matter much. It's a question of inner maturity, right? How much I want to live in harmony. Basic point is very simple. I want harmony in my life or not. That's all. For that, if I have to give, I have to forgive, I have to do it. Forgiveness is never for somebody else. Forgiveness is only for myself. I become free when I forgive. Otherwise, I am bound. That person has done what that person has to do and gone and forgotten also. I keep on boiling from inside. And my ego it is that makes me say, don't forgive. And it's my insecurity which makes me say that if I forgive once, what if the person does again? Ultimately, if it comes to fight, you fight ultimately. But that should not be the first thing. No? There also the fight has to be a non-personal fight, an issue-based fight, not a person-based fight. Mahabharata, if we analyze, that's what it is. No? Time and again, Kauravas have inflicted so much of pain on Pandavas. At every stage, they have forgiven or not. Forgiven, forgiven, forgiven. But when it comes to dharma, ultimately, when it comes to the duty and society, then the war has to be fought. And Krishna tells Arjun so nicely, he says, Tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsasi. You fight for the sake of the fighting because it's your duty not to settle personal grudges. This is not a war to settle personal grudge. So if you are fighting because in a non-personal way on that issue, Mahabharata war, some very interesting facts if I tell you. They used to fight in the morning, from morning till evening. But they had common kitchen. Yeah. They had common kitchen and they used to go into each other's camps in the evening. That was the level of civilization that time. It's a fratricidal war, but they are going into each other's camps, meeting each other, because the fight is between two sides on principles. There are some people who are, forced to be on that particular side. Like Bhishma is by, it's his voluntary choice, but he is there. But Pandavas love him. He loves Pandavas, so they go and meet. There's no problem. What does that show? That shows that the fight was not a personal fight. That fight was a fight on the principles. On that issue, we disagree completely. But on other issues, we are fine. That's mature living. Otherwise, on one issue, we brand the whole person, relationship gone, broken. Correct. Exactly, because objectivity is not there now. The ability to segregate the issue from the person is not there. One has to do that. Coming back to children and husband, how to control them. So I am going to give a disclaimer, whatever I am saying. May or may not be appealing. You have to take it at its own merit. So, first and foremost, before trying to discipline somebody else, I have to be disciplined first. Now first I'll talk about children, okay? If I want to discipline my child, what do I have to do? First I have to discipline. If I don't live in discipline, then I can't expect the child to follow example, because child is not going to listen to what I say, he is going to follow what I do. So first is that. Second, disciplining must be out of love, not out of ego, not out of some weird notion that this fellow has to be controlled in this way. No. Love is a very, very important factor. It is said, like a potter, no? A potter, when he makes a pot, he puts the mud, he supports the pot with the inside with his hand, and from the outside he goes on tapping, hitting. Outside hand is the discipline, inside hand is the love. One has to have that. If a mother wants to discipline a child, the basis has to be love, otherwise the child will feel very low in self-esteem. Will always feel that he is good for nothing. But if love is there, it gets cushioned. The person will not feel bad about oneself. In a non-personal way, the third point is discipline in a non-personal way. Don't say to the child that if you do this, you are good, if you don't do this, you are bad. That's creating a wrong impression. If you eat food in time, you are a good boy. If you don't eat food, you are a bad boy. That is wrong. We should never do that, because now we are including psychological branding in that. The understanding of good and bad is getting formed, and for something where there is no ethical conflict involved, we have created unnecessary false impression in the mind that if I follow discipline, then I am good, if I don't follow discipline, then I am bad, so I won't follow discipline. Let it be, I am bad. Now I am encouraging that behavior. Rebellion I am unnecessarily encouraging, because I am threatening the ego of the child. And child also has an ego. So one is to discipline with love, second is to discipline in a non-personal way, third is, again psychological input is, let the child face consequences of the action, not the punishment. Suppose the child is not eating on that time. Don't force. Let the child face the consequence. He will not get food after that point in time. Let him be hungry. We'll understand next time, I won't get, so I'll better come and eat. Rather than saying, if you don't eat now, I will not allow you to see TV, I will not allow you to go down and play, I will not allow you to watch your cartoon, then I am punishing the child. Then I am not allowing the child to logically understand that if I do this, this is not good for me, that I am going to be hungry and I am not going to be able to, do well in the next activity. Consequence has to be told very clearly, or let it be. Suppose the child doesn't do homework. Instead of punishing, forcing, okay, you don't do homework, fine. When the teacher scolds, what will the child do? Child will understand, no? Okay, I should have done that time. Rather than trying to protect the child at that time, one should leave it. So then what we are doing, we are allowing the child to follow the law of cause and effect. If I do an action, there will be a consequence. So before I do an action, I will think what will be the consequence of this. Rather than including fear in the mind because of punishment, now I made the child start thinking logically. There's a big difference. It may take little time. Please remember, that is very important. One psychological research says that by the time a child is 9 years old, the skill sets that the children have, they almost come to same level. Somebody may be able to say ABCD at 4 years, somebody may be able to say 5 years, somebody may be able to do multiplication little early, somebody little later. But by the age of 9, for average children, the skill set will come to the same. But the difference is the value system. The value system that goes into the mind of the child, that is formed in the formative years. And in that formative years, if the discipline is harsh and not backed by logic, not backed by non-personal approach, not backed by love, then the person grows up to be less confident. Person grows up with a low self-esteem. Then you see how that person lives. Will always depend on somebody, will always feel inferior, will always need some approval, some praise. So we have to be very careful of those few years. It takes a lot of time and patience. Sometimes one may show anger. There's a difference between show of anger and being angry. So I'm not saying one should just let the child do whatever the child wants. One may use approach whenever one wants to, depending on the circumstance. But important is that the child understands why this is being done. Fourth is teach the child skills to be disciplined. Many times we don't teach and give time for the child to develop the skills. Skills of organizing oneself, skills of time management, skills of communication. One has to teach skills. Without teaching proper skills, and it is not easy. If we expect 2-3 times we teach, the child will learn, it may not happen. Maybe 20 times, 40 times, 60 times. But it's not easy to be organized. Even as elders, are we so organized? Do we take, from where we take a thing, do we keep there? But we want the child's room to be spick and span. Everything must be nice, orderly. But we have to teach that to the child, no? Dhire, 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 and we also have to live like that. To manage time, easy or not? Very tough. Time management is not clock management. Time management is mind management. It takes so much time to learn that. So we may tell the child, no, now is your time to sleep, now is your time to see TV, now is your time to eat, now is your time to do this. And if the child doesn't do, we may feel offended because we take it personally, how can my child be indisciplined? But it takes time to discipline. So one is to teach the skill, one is also to make the child understand the benefit of that discipline. So if the child loves to do something and discipline is a aid in that, the child will want to do it. Various ways to discipline are there. Now come to husband. How to discipline a husband? I don't know in what context this is. Why the husband has to be disciplined? If you have a problem, just please politely sit and talk it out and tell your difficulties, that because of this indiscipline, what you are going through, and seek some support. Can you please support? Are you going through any difficulty? Can I help you in some way? That's all. Mutual talk and adjustment only has to be done. Or sometimes you feel very indisciplined and I am taken for granted. Then you put your limit. This much I can do. Beyond this, you have to deal with yourself. Leave it. What else can be done? He's such a grown-up person. How much can you discipline that person? What do you expect by discipline? I don't know. Husband must be disciplined means what? He should come on time, tell you I love you 3 times a day, take you out on every Sunday. I don't know what is your definition of discipline. So that you and your husband sort it out, whoever that person is. But the point is, without becoming personal, again the same issue it is. Without becoming personal, if an issue is presented, without personal attack, without saying you are doing like this, you are like this, because of you I am suffering. So then that's a personal attack. Without doing that, try to solve an issue which is there and see how that can be sorted amicably.